welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, the COVID vaccination and concerns about hesitancy and complacency. In the second watch, the volcano eruption in St. Vincent, challenges and possibilities. For our social media question, we ask, have you got your jab yet? If so, how was the process for you? Any side effects? Please share your responses on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program. Before all of that, here's I Quote.
This one is I Quote. Our happiness is greatest when we contribute to the happiness of others. Irit Shepard.
Yes, so true. Good morning, Shavani.
Good morning, Rev. How are you?
I'm doing well, my brother. And you?
Good, thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
I was wondering, what are some of the things you have been hearing about the COVID vaccine?
Too many to mention, though.
So many?
Too many,
Yeah,
too
because
many.
exercise has started,
Yes.
and I'm wondering what's going on in the minds of people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Well, we're going to explore it a little further later, so
Great.
the first watch will be back after this break.
And the Morning Watch is brought to you by Educom Code of Credit Union, valued through service integrity, innovation, and commitment. Huge thanks to Educom.
Level up.
Educom is taking it to another level with the Cardinals. 100% financing up to 9 years to repay and interest rates as low as 7.5%. Now get this! We will even include your insurance premium and processing fees. No more out-of-pocket expenses. That's right, no more out-of-pocket expenses. Hurry to your nearest Educom Cooperative Credit Union branch for the Cardinals celebration. Call 926-6973 for more details. Conditions apply.
Level up.
Hey, psst, come closer. I want to tell you my secret. My son wears his favorite shirt for everything, and no matter how much he runs, jumps, and plays, it always looks like new and smells really good. My secret? I use Suavitel Superior Care. Keeps my family's clothes as good as new. Suavitel, as soft as a mother's love.
You are the buzz, 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 buzz. You are the zing, 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 zing. You are the You are the click, 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 click. You are the pop, pop, pop. You are the I in Jamaica. So keep fizzing for the love of it. Pepsi.
Out of many one people, out of many one juice, out of many real fruit, but there ain't no substitute. We put the best fruit in, pour out enough love in, bring out the sunshine in and the true juice. This is the juice of Jamaica. Every fruit, every tropical flavor. When you feel the heat, you know say you a be true juice with your neighbor. Out of many one juice, true juice.
If you take victim A out of the situation and deal with victim A and get her the necessary support and help that she needs, there will be a victim B because the perpetrator, the abuser, is still in the picture. And truth is, he needs help too, or else we're going to be in this vicious cycle.
How have we, the people, the society, contributed, fostered, and or encouraged violence against women? It is said that our men are 5 times more idiots than they are wicked. Is it true? If so, what is causing that? Love 101 FM's town hall meeting on violence against women, the psyche of the people, will look at these issues and seek solutions. Tuesday, April 27 at 7:30 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. For weeks now, the national vaccination exercise has been on in earnest, of Jamaicans lining up to get the jab. Be that as it may, there are those who remain hesitant about getting vaccinated, while on the other hand, there are those who run the risk of becoming complacent after getting their first jab. It's against this background that we want to discuss what has been dubbed vaccination hesitancy and complacency. In so doing, we have online one of the busiest ladies in Jamaica today, Jamaica's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jacqueline Besesar McKenzie. Good morning, Dr. Besesar McKenzie.
Hi, morning. Morning to you and your listeners.
Yes, we know that you're a very, very busy lady. We really appreciate your taking time out to be with us this morning. Yes, Doc, what are the updates in regards to the vaccination exercise in Jamaica?
Okay, well, right now we are on a little break because we're just reorganizing to start back our vaccinations next week.
Mm-hmm.
We had hoped to start back maybe about Thursday of this week, but I think we've decided that we would just get everything in place, the appointment system back up. So we are waiting on the site to send us information as to their time and date so that we can get that organized for the appointment. And our hope is that we will start back on Monday.
Okay, so what are the figures so far in regards to the persons having received the vaccination?
Right. So after the blitz, we would have completed 135,453 doses administered, and that would have left us with about 14,000 doses that we have going into next week.
In light of those figures, Doc, how does Jamaica square when compared with other nations in the region?
Well, certainly in terms of the actual number of doses given, then we now are far ahead of our regional counterparts. However, in terms of percentage of population that has been vaccinated, you recognize that some of our neighbors are quite small with small populations, and so therefore they may be ahead of us in terms of the percentage of their population vaccinated. But we, as we had mentioned before, our hope is that we would be able to administer 2 to 2 million persons the vaccines by the end of this financial year. So we are still moving towards that target, trying to get about 60% of our population vaccinated. So as the vaccines become available, we are taking advantage of that to administer the doses as quickly as possible so that we can get, in particular, our vulnerable populations protected.
So are we on track in that regard?
Well, we have met our targets that we have set based on the doses that we have been given. Our aim is that by the end of June, going into July, we would want to complete approximately 400,000 persons that were designated within those vulnerable and essential groups. So having completed 135,000, which is about in approximately a month, just over a month period, and we have May, rest of April, May and June to go. I think that we can meet our targets, at least certainly that initial target for the first half of the year. But of course, it is dependent on the vaccines coming in as we plan. We cannot, be absolute until we actually see the arrivals, because so many things are happening on the international market that is going to impact on the reliability of us getting the vaccines at the time that we expect to get them.
Yes. And of course, the exercise has been on in earnest, and there have been mixed reviews, albeit most of them positive, it seems to me. What are your observations and your reflections in this regard?
Well, I think that the effort that we had in the 5-day period over the weekend before last weekend.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago, yeah.
Right. I think that has increased awareness in the public, and I think that the demand for the vaccines have improved, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we have a better in our healthcare workers than we had expected, and we are getting a good take-up in terms of our over 60 age groups, and we hope to move with that. So I think that the effort is being rewarded by the increased awareness within the population and their increased willingness to take the vaccines. So even the type of effort that we've had in terms of the BRIC operation, I think that in itself generated some demand. The younger persons, sometimes we had 40s, 50s age group would bring the older persons, the over 60s and over 70s. And in the initial part of the vaccination, when we just started with just doing the over 75, I think when they saw the process, that it was clean, it was friendly, it was welcoming, the elderly persons received it well, I think that they were stimulated to come back when it was their turn. So I think that even that gradual rollout has initiated the demand within some persons. Many persons who thought they would not take it, they want to observe for a period. I mean, it's only normal that would happen, and so they have seen that it has had good effect. We have less side effects in the elderly persons, and so even that, is helpful in stimulating others to come and get the vaccine.
Yes, and before we're about to take a break in a minute, but how does one explain the fact that you have less side effects among the elderly or the older?
I think the younger persons tend to have a more robust immune system, and so their response is going to be of a healthy young adult, that they will mount a response quicker. Elderly persons their immune response may be a little bit dampened just by age-related factors, but then that group of persons also have several comorbidities, and so that may also dampen their immune response.
Okay.
And they may be on different types of medications as well that may dampen the response.
Yes, we're going to have to hold that thought, please, Dr. Bisesa Mackenzie. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Jamaica Banana Board, Green Gold, Life Health, and the Environment. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Banana Board is
7:15 on the Sound of Love.
Hey, psst, come closer. I want to tell you my secret. My son wears his favorite shirt for everything, and no matter how much he runs, jumps, and plays, it always looks like new and smells really good. My secret? I use Suavitel Superior Care. Keeps my family's clothes as good as new. Suavitel, as soft as a mother's love.
You are the buzz, 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 buzz. You are the zing, 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 zing. You are the You are the click, click, click. You are the pop, pop, pop. You are the I in Jamaica. So keep fizzing for the love of it. Pepsi.
Out of many one people, out of many one juice, out of many real fruit, but there ain't no substitute. We put the best fruit in, pour out enough love in, bring out the sunshine in and the true juice. This are the juice of Jamaica. Every fruit, every tropical flavor. When you feel the heat, you know say you a be true juice with your neighbor. Out of many, one juice, true juice.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and we are discussing the COVID vaccination exercise, and we are going to be focusing soon on the whole matter of hesitancy and complacency. We have online Dr. Jacqueline Biseso McKenzie, Chief Medical Officer of Jamaica. Dr. Biseso McKenzie, in terms of the exercise that has been on in earnest, that some of the centers we're gathering that there were those who did not get a band-aid after they were injected, and there were some concerns by persons that the vaccinations were done in public view rather than privately, even behind a screen. Your response?
I think we have to make certain decisions when we mount a mass immunization exercise. It is a matter of being able to do what is safe, what is recommended, and to do it quickly so that we can get through the numbers that we have. So persons may be used to, you go to the doctor and you are in an office and you sit down and the nurse comes and give you the immunization, and then you leave and then somebody else comes in. We know that immunization has been done repeatedly in Jamaica for years and years and years. We follow strictly the guidelines, the international guidelines that are put out by the World Health Organization. Our public health nurses who guide the process are very, very knowledgeable and experienced in this matter. It is really about maintaining the area in a very safe way. The cleaning of the area to ensure that there are no germs on the outside. That is done before the vaccine is injected. The injection is done with a very, very, very tiny needle that is inserted. It is done intramuscularly so that the needle goes down into the muscle. The pathway coming back out is very, very tiny and closes immediately. So most persons, I don't think if there are, it will be very, very few persons who even end up with bleeding after, because the needle is so fine that as it is pulled out, it is closed completely. So there is very, very minimal risk of any kind of infection. And essentially what we have been seeing in terms of our response, in terms of persons who would have reported any kind of issues after, and in our own healthcare workers who thousands of them would have taken the vaccines, is that we are not having any kind of problems that are associated with the method in which we are given the vaccine. And we don't expect, because the process is an approved process. You know that once these processes are put out, there's usually considerable studies, observation to say that this is a validated process.
How much of a concern is the whole matter, therefore, of vaccine hesitancy and complacency?
Well, it is a matter of concern, because if we do not get a significant portion of our population vaccinated, it's almost like we're always going to be looking over our shoulders, because the vaccination protects you, the person who has been vaccinated. But if you have a lot of persons around you who are not vaccinated, then certainly there is still going to be spread of the virus. One of the biggest dangers where this is concerned is that the more you continue to have spread and multiplication of the virus in the population, is the more chances of mutation and that the virus will change. And then, therefore, you will end up with new variants that may not be responsive or as responsive to the vaccines and may even spread quicker, as we see in some of the strains. And even later on, we may find out that you may have strains that are more virulent or give a more severe disease. So those are some of the dangers that we face if it is that all the population does not take this on. That few persons will be protected, the mass of the vaccination, the population will not be protected, and thereby also even putting the persons who would have been vaccinated at risk because of the development of new strains.
How is the Ministry of Health and Wellness addressing these concerns?
Well, we continue with our health promotion and education exercises. We really, almost every single day you will see the media, both in social media and formal media. We will see that, we are out there just encouraging persons to take the vaccine. We're sharing the experiences of persons who would have taken the vaccine. It's really just about spreading the word and to get one to speak to another, for everybody to encourage each other, to increase the awareness of what is happening with COVID. The risk as a population, we would have seen the risk we face, having had one spike in August and then a worse spike in February, March of this year, that is only just now tending to go down. We do face a risk, and we will continue to face a risk. So it is keeping the population informed of all of this, what happens if you get COVID, what are the dangers, not just to you, but to the persons around you, the persons that you love. And then also to understand that vaccinations help. And vaccinations is a hope that we have, that if we can get enough persons vaccinated, then we certainly can protect our population.
I'm happy you mentioned the fact that vaccinations help, at least from your perspective. What does the vaccine really do? Does it make us immune to the virus?
Okay, so the immunity that is conferred by the vaccine, as you know, so far we can probably for certain say that you will be protected for maybe a year. As the studies go on, and they continue to follow persons who have been vaccinated, we will see how long the immune response remains and if it continues to build. And that is also very important in getting the second dose of the vaccine, because the second dose will cause you to develop a stronger and a more long-lasting response, and of course, meaning translating to more immunity against the virus.
So that I get it right, Doc. If someone receives a vaccine, they will not get the COVID-19 infection. Is that what you're saying?
No, that is not right. No,
Okay.
that is not right.
Okay.
Because what we would have seen is that compared to a population that has not received the vaccine, a population who has received the vaccine, 60 to 70%, 70% is what the studies are saying now, and increase to 80% after the second dose. Less persons, 70 to 80% less persons will develop symptomatic disease. So persons will develop symptomatic disease, some persons, but in those persons who develop symptomatic disease, 100% of those persons, it's a mild disease and will not translate into severe illness and hospitalization.
Uh-huh. And yet still, there are those who are arguing that these vaccines were developed speedily. They have concerns about that. There are those who argue that they are really experimental drugs. There are reports of blood clotting, as you know. And of course, in the religious sphere, there's the whole matter of it being the mark of the beast. How you respond to that?
Well, I would say that Jamaicans, just the plain person on the road, have had experience with vaccines from they were born. So as a population, we would have received our BCG vaccine at birth, then we would have received our polio vaccine, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus vaccine, or measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine.
Yeah.
This is routine immunization for us, and we have been doing that for years and years to the benefit of the population. So in terms of, vaccinations, our population is well used to it and therefore should not have any doubts in terms of the value of the vaccine. We know that the vaccines can have side effects, and we know the mild side effects that we would have reported on, especially in persons that we would have seen in terms of the flu-like illness, the soreness at the site. We know that those settle down after a while. But we do know that as we continue to study and to watch what happens, just as with any other drugs or medication, you're going to have some very rare side effects that can occur. And with everything, if you read the labels of your medications that you take for arthritis, for hypertension, for diabetes, many times you would not want to take it because there are the possibility of very, very rare side effects that can occur. And I would imagine that as time goes by, you may see more of these popping up. But they're so few, so rare, that benefit to the population far outweighs the risk. And so I would say to Jamaicans that, yes, you must be aware of what is going on, but consider the risk of COVID, which is a more real risk that is right in front of our faces. You are more likely to get COVID in our situation today, not just in Jamaica, but as you travel around the world. And the possibility of what happens when you get COVID in terms of developing a severe illness, ending up in hospitals, and, with possibility of very bad outcomes, you could die, then also the possibility of the overwhelming of our hospitals, so that even if you have complication of your other illnesses, your hypertension, your diabetes, you're not even able to get the kind of care that you need. We see that happening in several countries.
All of this talk is not fear-mongering, as some people have been advocating, that this is a fear-mongering exercise.
Well, we don't even have to go there, because our experience is not that we're watching from outside. It's not that we're just seeing what is happening in other countries. We see what is happening in our own country. We see the increase in the number of cases as we relax our restrictions. We see how our hospitalizations go up. We see how the number of deaths go up. This is something that if you can prevent it, if it is within your means to prevent it, then prevent it you must.
Yes. Okay. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Besesa Mackenzie. We sense the passion in your voice, and we want to thank you as well for your service to the nation. We know it's a difficult time. And you're doing okay, right, Doc? With all of this stress and strain.
Well, we have to continue. For doctors, nurses, persons within the health sector, we ourselves suffer our own losses and our own disappointments and, everything else. But we learn, it is a part of our mandate, our professionalism, that it is our duty to care. And
prayers are with you. Prayers are with you, Doc. Thanks for joining us this morning. Have a blessed day.
Okay, same to you, and I hope that you would have taken advantage of the bits and gotten vaccinated.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And bless you.
If not, anybody that is out there, when it's your time, please make your appointment and get vaccinated.
Great. The Morning Watch listeners will return in just a moment.
JN Bank Live Online Banking is your quick and easy banking that's safe and secure. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank will help you find a way. The time is
7:31 on the Family Station, Love 101.
Jamaica, Our way of life is being affected, but our path to progress is not. Flow has continued to build its network infrastructure to prepare for times like these, to ensure that your connections to everything important are strong and reliable. And if you are a current Flow Home Service customer, upgraded services may be available in your area. Learning from home is smarter, and working from home is stronger than ever. I am Stephen Price, Country Manager of Flow, and this is our commitment. The strength of the Flow network is yours and ready when you need it. Visit your nearest Flow store or discover flow.co. It is our privilege to serve you.
You are the buzz, 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 buzz. You are the zing, 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 zing. You are the you are the click, 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 click. You are the pop, pop, pop. You are the I in Jamaica. So keep fizzing for the love of it. Pepsi.
Get the skills and certification that equates to jobs and money worldwide. In 3 to 4 months at the Distinction College, start day, evening, and Saturday classes in pharmacy technician, bartending and mixology, project and HR management, cosmetology, airline ticketing, and sales. No subjects required, no age limits, no entrance tests. Register this week and win an additional course for free. Or visit us in Kingston, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios, or call us at 876-356-4167. Distinction College, the school of champions.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Well, let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Gleaner, airline queue up for boom in travel to Jamaica. Also, Arcabessa eyes Irish Moss market. You see here as well in the Gleaner that Bruce Golding, I guess he's stating this, pressure MPs on impeachment law. And then in the Observer, pensioners' plight. Elderly landlord has to wait 8 months to take non-paying tenant to court. Also, the family of man accused of killing son find comfort in murder charge. And then a lawyer says employers could face charges for forcing workers to take the job. Those are some of the major stories and headlines in the newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our Facebook and WhatsApp question. Have you got your job yet? If so, what was the process for you? Are there any side effects? Please leave a comment on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Here is a reminder from Love 101, the family station. As we face this COVID-19 pandemic, be kind and support loved ones during this time. Check in regularly on others, especially those who are affected. Encourage them to keep doing what they enjoy. Share accurate COVID-related information with them to manage anxiety. I am Jonathan Fletcher from Love 101, reminding you to protect yourself while protecting others. Stay safe and keep it locked on Love 101, the family station.
Have some issues and concerns in your community that you wish could be attended to now? Want a platform to voice those concerns? This could be the place for you. Send your 30-second voice notes describing your issue to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Be sure to type a voice for hope before sending the voice note. Then listen on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. for a voice for hope. Share the concerns you have seen. You know that street light that has not been working for a long time, or your community has not had water for 2 weeks now? Yes, here is somewhere you can share it. And maybe, just maybe, we can get some love on your situation. Remember now, send a 30-second voice note describing your issue and type a voice for hope before sending your voice note to 876-997-3125. A voice for hope. It's a problem, and we need a solution now. Love 101 FM, the family station, bringing a voice to your situation.
Another excuse for the bruise below her eye. Dark shades when she's going outside, it doesn't hide. The missing fire, cause now she seems timid and small. Had big dreams and the means for achieving them all. But her man's show of strength only exposed his weakness through physical blows that left her soul in pieces. That was an excerpt from A Travel Guide for the Broken. On Tuesday, April 27, share in our discussion on Violence Against Women, the Psyche of the People, during Love 101 FM's virtual town hall meeting at 7:30 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's join Shavoni for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. Have you got your job yet? If so, how has the process been for you? Any side effects? Shavoni.
All right, a comment here. This one says, yes, I have, and the process was done with care, with mild side effects. This one says, yes, I got mine, and I'm doing very well. I was advised to take Cetamol for up to 24 hours after, so I didn't experience any side effects. My sisters abroad got the Pfizer and Moderna respectively, and although they had some side effects, they are also doing well. Thank God. Great. Those are the comments I'm seeing.
All right, some positive responses there. Thank you. All right, well, listeners, on April 9 of this year, an explosive volcanic eruption occurred on the main island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Since that day, life has reportedly taken a dramatic turn for the worse among a number of persons living there. But are all the reports and stories we're hearing accurate? What really are the challenges St. Vincent and the Grenadines now face? What are the possibilities in terms of rescue, relief, and recovery? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have joining us Ms. Joy Cato, a Jamaican living in St. Vincent, and Dr. Barbara Carby, disaster risk management expert. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your listeners.
Yes, good to have you both with us, ladies. Let me begin with you, Dr. Carby. Just want to, to make sure we're all on the same page. How and why do volcanoes occur? Dr. Carby.
Okay. So volcanoes occur because there is what we call molten lava, which you can think of as rock deep in the earth, which are so hot that they have actually started to melt. And the pressures within the earth will force those rocks to the surface at different points. Now, the different types of eruptions. So, the one in St. Vincent is called a pyroclastic eruption, which is an explosive type of eruption.
Yes.
Which ash boulders, small pots come out as an explosion. Also what we call the Hawaiian type, which you may have seen, where there's this red hot lava running down the mountain. So that's not explosive, that is more explosive, where the molten rock comes out as a liquid, really, and runs down the side of the mountain. So that, basically is what happens.
Yes, Dr. Carby, I'm not sure if it is my end or yours, but your signal is inconsistent. I don't know what can be done. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Let me speak with your producer, and you can switch me to another, maybe.
Okay, all right. In the meantime, Miss Cato?
Yeah?
Yes.
I'm
yes.
here.
Yes, welcome again.
Thank
where
you.
exactly in St. Vincent is the volcano located?
Okay. Well, the volcano is located in the north of the island, on the slopes of those mountains. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So it's on the northern section of the island, and there had been a number of towns along the slopes of the Soufriere Mountain.
Yes. So how affected have the Vincentians been since the eruption?
All right. First of all, the island was divided into a number of zones.
Yes.
Starting with the red zone, which was the closest area to the volcano, and that would be the area that was most liable to be very badly affected.
Yes.
Then there was an orange layer, and then there was a yellow layer, and then there was the green layer. So
yes.
Each layer was demarcated according to how hazardous the situation would be.
So which one of those layers do you reside in?
In the green area.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We're happy to hear that.
So, me too. So we're in the green area, and
yes.
To date, there has not been an order to evacuate anywhere else. Just the red area has been evacuated. So, although I don't know,
in terms of distance,
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
I cannot tell you mileage. But let me just say this. St. Vincent, the island, is quite small.
Yes.
St. Vincent could fit into, let us say, maybe St. Elizabeth, maybe St. Catherine.
Yes.
In one of the larger parishes, St. Vincent could fit there, and people in the rest of Jamaica would know it's there.
Wow.
That's all I can say. I cannot tell you in terms of miles.
Yes. So the ashes and all of that, how is it affecting you, even though you're in the green?
Well, no, that is a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
Because so Soufriere erupted on the Friday. The first eruption was on Friday. And ostensibly, the red area should already have been evacuated. But there are some people who didn't leave. But
okay, Miss Cato, I'm so sorry.
Yes,
could you hold that thought, please? We're going to take a break and be right back.
The time by the Ministry of Health, healthy people, healthy environment is
7:45 on the Sound of Love.
Bills to pay and funds to transfer? No problem. I do it all on my time with JN Bank Live Online Banking. It's my simple and secure as that online banking.
Phone credit need a top up? No problem.
I do it with JN Bank Live Online Banking. It's quick and easy with just a few clicks. JN Bank Live, online banking that goes where you go. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
The world has changed drastically. Are you ready to face it? The University of the West Indies, the Caribbean's #1 university, can get you ready. Because while everyone else is trying to adapt, we are ready to prepare you for what lies ahead. So secure your future by investing in yourself and make your dreams the next big thing with a degree from the UWI Mona. Apply today at mona.uwi.edu.
You are the buzz, 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 buzz. You are the zing, 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 zing. You are the. You are the click, click, click. You are the pop, pop, pop. You are the I in Jamaica. So keep fizzing for the love of it. Pepsi.
We working on a brighter day, you not have to fret. You know your family secure, you not need no stress. It's like you run a 5K, set the pace, win the race, celebrate, and you still never bust no sweat. We see we brother and we sister, this is how we heal them. Easy now, you and Guardian Life, it's a nation we're building. Many hearts, but we all want the same thing. Live secure and live easy.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and we're discussing in the second watch the volcano eruption in St. Vincent. We have online Dr. Barbara Carby, disaster risk management expert, and Miss Joy Cato, a Jamaican living in St. Vincent. Miss Cato, before the break, you were describing to us the situation there in St. Vincent.
Okay. So on Friday, there were 2 explosions. One explosion was about 20,000 feet in the air. The second one was 50,000 feet in the air. Now, what we could see was an enormous cloud, swirling cloud, lots of smoke, steam, ash. We didn't have any boulders because we are too far away. But up on the sides of the mountain, there were boulders rushing down. There was hot water steaming. What happened is once the cloud was airborne, the wind just took it.
Yes.
So ash covered, I shouldn't say covered. Because when I look at what happened in Barbados was covered by ash. We had heavy ash fall. Outside looked like it was snowing. It looked as if outside was covered by snow.
Wow.
So it would have been very difficult for persons to be outdoors without heavy proper masks on. By the time they were outdoors for not very long, they would have been covered with ash. So that was the main problem for us down in the green zone, the ash.
Is breathing a difficulty right now?
Not really, because I am not aware of any major explosions recently. Today is a bright, hot, sunny day. But there was so much ash on the ground that, of course, once the wind picks up, there is more ash in the air. So this is ash that is coming off of the ground now.
Yes.
On Saturday, it rained. It rained on Saturday, and what that did, once the water touched the ash would begin to harden, like cement mortar.
Wow.
So
that
the
also becomes
danger.
a concern.
Sorry?
That also becomes a concern
Exactly.
eventually. Yeah.
Exactly. I had to go out and clean my gutters There were houses up in the red zone where roofs collapsed because of so much ash on the roof, boulders on the roof, big boulders, little stones. You know, it was a mess. Up there was a mess. So I don't know how soon persons who are in shelters will be able to get back to their homes if they are still there.
Wow. Dr. Kirby, are you with us again?
Yes, I am.
Yes. As an expert, Dr. Kirby, in disaster risk management, how would you rate the response of the authorities in St. Vincent and the rest of the region so far? What are your concerns?
Well, I wouldn't really rate it because I'm not sufficiently acquainted with what is going on to really give an objective opinion. But, well, we must recognize, first of all, that the authorities there are dealing with two concurrent events. So the COVID pandemic is still going on while they have to be thinking about moving people into shelters for evacuation and so on. And then we have to remember that it's an even more difficult situation because let us say something as simple as water that we take for granted. This ash is going to be falling into any open water source. So, for example, if your main source of water is surface, that is to say from rivers, you're going to have a difficulty because the ash has now contaminated the rivers. It's getting into machinery, so your plants, your treatment plants and so on, you'd have to be very careful to keep those going. So in addition to the sort of normal things we're used to, we have this ash to contend with that is going to disrupt things even more than normal. Within the shelters now, I saw that St. Vincent has over 80 shelters open. And that I suspect is because that they've had to enforce physical distancing. So there, fewer people are now in each shelter, so you have more shelters to manage.
Yes.
So it's a very difficult situation. I mean, food again, now remember that they will be able to get food really only from the green zone. The orange and the yellow zones are heavily covered in ash. So that restricts your food supply in terms of, fruits and vegetables, root crops, and so on. So food security now also becomes an issue. So they're managing a complex situation,
Yeah. If you were there, Dr. Kirby, dealing with disaster risk management, how would you approach it?
I probably would have run.
You'd run?
No. Okay, here is the thing. The good thing about this eruption is that we have known it is coming for some time. We just don't know exactly when. Back in 2012, I actually worked on a project which looked at maps for ash fall, for example. And as part of that, we did simulation exercises with the population and so on. So they had time to plan. Now, I can't speak to how effective that planning was because, as I say, I'm not as acquainted with the situation.
Right.
Evaluations afterwards, of course, will show that. So they've had time to plan. Having said that, remember that they have been dealing with COVID for a year. So I suspect that the focus was very much on COVID and not so much on the volcano. But I mean, in terms of general responses, the principles are the same. So you save lives, then you attend to the most basic needs first: food, water, shelter, and then you follow up with some kind of what we call a psychosocial response. That would deal with the sort of mental health aspect,
right?
Which in this case, of course, are doubled, if you like. Then the authorities have to be looking forward now, because we're now in April, and we know in 2 months the hurricane season will start.
Oh dear.
So they, in the midst of all of this, they still now have to be thinking about planning for the hurricane season.
A triple Whammy.
No, the good thing is that SDG is not alone. Under the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, there is help that is available from the region. So some countries have already mobilized on a bilateral basis. I know that CDEMA, the CARICOM Regional Agency for Disasters, they have also mobilized. And, for example, some security forces and so on will be sent to St. Vincent. And if St. Vincent asks for disaster management experts to come and help, CDEMA can mobilize those as well.
Yeah.
So, we stand in solidarity with St. Vincent in this very difficult situation.
And of course, the rest of the Caribbean has been affected and perhaps will be for a little while, right, Dr. Kirby, in terms of the ash and everything?
Yes. So I don't know if you saw the pictures out of Barbados, where it was like night there in one of the heavy ash falls. But remember also that if you have something going, 5 kilometers up into the air, aviation will also be affected.
Yep.
Planes cannot fly through volcanic ash safely.
Yeah.
So they will tend to try to avoid it if it's heavy enough.
Yeah.
So regional air transport will also have to adjust to this situation.
Wow.
And the ash could actually reach as far as Jamaica, though not badly, depending on the currents,
Yes. Miss Kato, why haven't you run?
Actually, so many of my friends and relatives in Jamaica have been asking, when are you coming?
Yes.
We're not in danger right now. It's the ash that is the problem, and even that is manageable because we have been expecting this for months. The Water Authority had advised citizens to store water months ago. So we have in our house, that's what we do. And the water, it's the rivers that feed our water. So the water system was shut down for 2 days, island-wide. But by now, I think in most areas, the water has come back. Our water is back, and it has been back. After the 2 days, we have had water every day.
Well, Ms. Kato, if there's a massive explosion, wouldn't it affect you even though you're in the green zone?
Well, we can know how massive the explosion would be. I mean, our closest information is what happened on Montserrat. But we don't know. We can't know.
Yeah.
Neither can we know when this will happen again. The volcanologist has said to us this could go on for months.
Dr. Kirby, you have the final word. Half a minute.
Yes, I was going to say that a large explosion should not affect the green zone.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kirby.
Yes, so you won't have
That's reassuring.
Yes. But I'm just going to say that we should try and do our best to help St. Vincent. There are various relief efforts which are on the way. And, as Caribbean people, we need to come together to try to assist them. And in
a number of forces have already come in. They are on the ground. They are working.
Right.
Yes, and actually the United Nations has also mobilized and so on. So there will be help available.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you, ladies, for joining us. Stay safe. Stay safe, Miss Kato.
I'll do my best.
Yes, right.
I should say, Dr. Kirby didn't mention this, but most of the shelters are placed in schools. So schools will not be able to reopen for a very long time.
Wow,
School is one of our major problems.
Along with the pandemic. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a productive day.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yes, thank you, listeners, for being with us. For informal our production department at 876-968-959627. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guest. I'm Dylan Toussaint, and you're back to Love in the Morning with Shavani Blair.
You're tuned to Love 101, the family station, and the Morning Watch was brought to you today by Educom, Cooperative Credit Union, valued through service, integrity, innovation, and commitment. It is a minute after 8 o'clock, folks, and it's time for the program Forward in Faith, brought to you by the Portmore New Testament Church of God.